Hello, Jack Setson here. So, when I graduated from college for the first time in 2009, I bought a class ring to commemorate the occasion. I was at sort of a merchant fair for graduation goods and services, and Jostens, the company that deals with things like class rings and yearbooks and stuff like that, was there selling class rings. So I get in line and I start talking to this nice woman about getting a class ring. I wanted a traditional men's class ring. I knew they were big on me and wouldn't help me pass or anything, but it wasn't something that I wanted to wear a lot. It was just something I wanted as a commemorative piece, and so I decided to deal with it. And she was not showing me the men's rings. First she shows me the women's rings, which I immediately passed up. So she's trying like hell to get me to buy one of these modern unisex rings that were just hideous to me. They were, well, it wasn't that they were hideous, it was that they were not even close to being traditional. And because I have a love of certain traditional things, I really didn't want some plain silver metal with a couple of diamonds and a year on it. I wanted a traditional looking men's class ring. So I said I didn't like these. She moves me back over to the women's rings to look back at those. And I'm trying to get over to the men's rings, and she's basically pushing me away from the rings that I want so that I will pick some ring over here, either unisex or female, that I have no interest in wearing. So this went back and forth for maybe 5 minutes, and finally I just said, because it's relevant right now, I'm going to tell you that I'm in the middle of a sex change. I'm not going to buy a women's ring. I'm not going to buy a unisex ring. I would like to look at the men's rings, please. Which seemed to embarrass the fuck out of her. But she did finally let me see them. And since the cat was already out of the bag, I asked things like if they would resize my ring for me if I went on T and my ring size changed. To which she explained that they will. So go Jostens. I often wonder if they're like, if they have like Jostens conferences to go to, and if she goes there and tells people about the time somebody told her that he was having a sex change in order to get the right ring. But yeah, I did get the ring, as you can see, and yes, as I expected, it is horrendously huge on me, but again, it's not something that I wear often. But that's become one of my favorite I'm getting a sex change stories. I tell it because for me it highlights how useful I think it is to own the phrase sex change. Yes, it's overhyped. It's used on Jerry Springer, and it's often used in an inflammatory manner, but at the same time, almost everybody knows what it means when I say it. It's so much more difficult and so irritating to use words that I have to define every time I use them. And especially when I'm going to be using them for people who I'm literally only going to know and see for like 2 minutes. So other people seem to prefer words like transition and gender reorientation and gender reassignment. And if they understand these words, they're usually going to fall back on sex change anyway. So I tend to use those words only when I'm talking to people who already have a firm grasp of trans issues, which so far I've come to the realization that anybody I talk to in any sort of service industry, whether I'm trying to get my name changed on a record or whether I'm trying to buy a ring, they're not well versed in trans issues, which is how come I have to spend an hour at the DMV just to get a letter changed on it, and how come I had to sit at the Social Security or stand at the desk for a half an hour before they finally had the information that they wanted to get for me, because nobody knows what's happening. In fact, I think that there was only one time where I talked to somebody about this subject and they knew right away what to do, and that was the person who changed my name on the records for my auto insurance, which I guess makes sense because getting your gender changed on your license changes how much you have to pay for your auto insurance, but she knew what to do right away. Everybody else, like, you say that you had your gender changed on your driver license, and their mind just goes all fucked up. But anyway, that's how come I use the phrase sex change in my videos, and also just in casual conversation. It's not, as some people may assume, because I'm stupid, or because I'm a noob, or because I have no experience within the trans community. That's not true. It's just the terminology that I prefer because I think that it's useful. Anyway, I have other videos to do, and I have a dog who wants me to feed him, apparently. So I'll let you go for now. I'm Jack Stetson. Happy trails.